taken at the 1-yard line by the rookie Casper. And Casper, trying to win a job, almost broke it. Tackled at the 27-yard line by Antoine Edwards. As we go to Melissa Stark. Melissa.
Al, 2 years ago, most people didn't know who Mike Sherman was. He was the offensive coordinator in Seattle. Last year, he got his first head coaching job ever at any level with the Packers. This year, the man who hired him, Ron Wolf, retired, and Sherman took over for him as general manager. That's a job that most coaches don't get until they've won a Super Bowl or 2. Sherman said that the biggest piece of advice he's gotten on how to handle all the responsibilities came from his wife. She said, you can't possibly work more than you already do, so just learn how to manage your time.
And Sherman has just watched his defense give up that completion from Greasy to Rod Smith, with Butler making the tackle, and a gain of 15 for a first down.
You know, Sherman's got it easy, Al. All he has to do is follow Lombardi. I, of course, have to follow the legacy that is Esiason.
Interesting way to look at it. Sherman also followed, among others, Mike Holmgren, for whom he worked here in the 90s, and then Ray Rhodes, who was here for 1 year. Rhodes, interestingly, now on the other side with Denver as the defensive coordinator, and that's caught by Smith. So they go to Smith on the first 2 plays, and he takes it across the 50 to the 49-yard line. That's a gain of 8. So Brian Greasy, who separated his shoulder in that Monday night game and still came back in to lead them to the win last November, with Mike Anderson and Patrick Hape in the backfield. Smith's already caught 2 balls, and McCaffrey on the other side. Carswell is the tight end, and the offensive line light and fast as it always is in Denver, with Teague, Friedman, Nalen, a Pro Bowler, Neal, and Matt Lepsis.
Trey Teague, the man who's under the microscope tonight, replacing Tony Jones.
Jones has retired after working out initially with Cleveland. 2nd and 2, a flag goes down as Mike Anderson's first carry takes him to the 44-yard line, and the penalty will be against Green Bay for offside. Bill Carollo so designates that call.
That's against Darren Sharper. Darren Sharper offsides.
Offside, defense, number 36. That penalty is declined. First down.
Sharper coming on a blitz, trying to get some pressure on the quarterback. He just steps a little too soon into the neutral zone. That gets that flag. But Mike Anderson will run this first series for the Broncos. Then he'll give way to Alandis Gary. They'll go back and forth by series until about the midway through the third quarter. And they're being judged as a possible #1 back for the Broncos.
Greasy, a lot of time, but the secondary does its job, and then Bryan slides to a halt and loses 3. Let's take a look at the Packer defensive unit, hurting, of course, up front with no Santana Dotson and no Gilbert Brown for the moment. Billy Lyon and Jim Flanagan inside, John Theory and Vonnie Holliday the ends. You've got Harris in the middle of K.D. Williams, and Gizzy is a former Bronco. And then Mike McKenzie with Todd McBride at the corners, and the pair of safeties, as good as they come in the league as a tandem, in Sharper and Butler. And there is John Theory, came in with Chicago in the early 90s, and like a lot of Bears, made his way up Lake Michigan. And this one is picked off by Mike McKenzie. And McKenzie takes it to the 44-yard line as Green Bay comes up with the early turnover.
The key for McKenzie on the corner is to be physical with Eddie Kennison. And that's exactly what he is. He's right up in his face. Kennison goes at about 190 pounds, and great read by McKenzie as he cut underneath that slant route. Greasy doesn't throw many interceptions, only threw 4 all year last season in the regular season.
It's time for Antoine Edwards and McKenzie to reward Ron Wolf's faith in them. And this is the year they're looking for them to do that.
Greasy threw only 1 pick every 84 passes last season. Now from the 44, Green Bay's first offensive play is Rondell Mealy, 7th-round pick last year, no gain. Brett Favre, his numbers last year, but he got hot at the end. Mealy starts tonight with the injuries to Levens and to Green. Henderson, the fullback, with Schrader and Freeman outside. Franks was their #1 pick last year, the tight end. And offensively, up front for Green Bay with Clifton, Wall, Flanagan, Rivera, and Mark Tauscher, the Badger.
How often do you get both your starting tackles in one draft in 1 year?
2nd and 9. Here's Mealy again, who was hurt last season. Suffered a knee injury, was on injured reserve all year. And Bill Romanowski, yes, he's back. Year 14 for the former BC Eagle, who started with the 49ers. Keith Washington, McLaughlin, who's been a Raider and a Chief both. Trevor Price went to the Pro Bowl. And the former Cowboy Pittman, the offensive or defensive line, with John Mobley, Al Wilson, and Romanowski, the linebackers. And in the secondary, O'Neal with Denard Walker, the former Tennessee Titan. At the corners, Billy Jenkins and Eric Brown are the safeties. 3rd and 10. Movement up front. Looked like Denver was offside. Schrader makes the catch, cuts it back inside, takes it down to the 18-yard line. Tackled by Ian Gold after he put a great move on Eric Brown, who had come over. 37-yard gain.
It was almost as if Eric Brown saw the flags go up and he relaxed for just a minute. If you relax against Brett Favre, he's going to burn you. Schrader kept on his route down the sideline. There goes the flag. Look at that's Walker looking to the inside and to the outside there. Brown over too late, and look at this rocket throw by Brett Favre. That's something he couldn't do last year at this time because he was battling tendonitis in his right arm.
Not only does Favre not hesitate when he sees a flag, he salivates.
Basically it's a veteran move. You know you've got a free play, and you know why not go down the field with it. Nobody does it better than Favre.
From the 19-yard line on 1st down. Favre, flag is thrown by the umpire. Pass over the middle intended for Antonio Freeman. And as is the case 99% of the time, when that official throws the flag, it's offensive holding.
Second to be against Mike Wall. Holding Chester McLaughlin. It's not a bad move. Chester 334 and a lot of power.
Holding, 68, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
You know, Dan, already this early in the game, we've seen the Packers in a couple 3 and 4 wide out spreads. And I'm wondering, now that they're so deep at that position with Driver and Corey Bradford, Schrader, Antonio Freeman, Charles Lee, are we going to see more of that from the Pack this year?
Well, probably not. They want to get Bubba Franks cranked up at the tight end position. He's such a big target over the middle and important to Brett Favre. Favre loves to throw to his tight ends.
1st and 20. And he swings it out to Mealy. And Mealy is out of bounds at the 19. And we'll see a lot of Mealy tonight because Dorsey Levens has a broken hand. He's iffy for the start of the regular season in 3 weeks. And Amon Green has a tender hamstring. If this were a regular season game, Green would probably be able to start tonight. But neither is in uniform.
We've seen Favre throw the high, hard fastball. Watch the touch here. 1st and 20. Just take what the defense gives you, dump it over the top, makes an easy catch for Mealy, gets down the sidelines, picks up 11 yards. Again, the veteran Favre dealing the ball.
He's like Juan Marichal. Go 3/4, sidearm, overhand, anything to beat you.
Even submarine if he had to. Or a shovel pass. 2nd and 9. Goes off his back foot as he does so brilliantly and has for so many years. And Bubba Franks makes the catch a little shy of the 1st down. Billy Jenkins makes the tackle, and Favre took a shot in the mouth.
We got Bubba lined up outside, Dennis, here. They move him out as a wide receiver. But this is what they love about the guy. Of course, he's got the great size to get inside Billy Jenkins, but look at those hands.
Beautiful.
Snatch that ball right out of the air.
Bubba says if he doesn't catch 50 this year, he's going to be disappointed.
In this offense, and as well as he's playing in training camp so far, I would expect him to catch at least 50.
Caught 34 last season, #1 draft choice in 2000. 3rd and 1 from the 11, and they give it to Mealy, and that's a great play, and one of the reasons that Price went to the Pro Bowl along with Keith Washington. 97 and 93 stop him in the backfield and force Longwell to come in to try for a 3-pointer.
Well, you know, the addition of Washington, Chester McLaughlin, Leon Lett put some meat up front this year. Out of the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to try to keep people off their middle backer, Al Wilson, like they do with Ray Lewis in Baltimore.
Well, what Washington does there is he avoids the lead block by William Henderson, and that allowed Price to clean up on the tackle.
30-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Longwell, and he gives Green Bay the lead. So they cash in on the interception by Mike McKenzie. And a little less than 6 minutes into the game, it's Green Bay 3, Denver 0. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. Verizon Wireless, join in. And Killian's Irish Red, which reminds you one look says a lot. Green Bay will be back here in 5 weeks. Week 3 of the regular season. It'll be the Washington Redskins against Green Bay. And the regular year begins on Monday Night Football. 3 weeks from tonight, the new Denver playpen will be the site of the Broncos and the New York Giants. Year 32 of Monday Night Football as Longwell kicks off, sends it to the goal line, and Kevin Casper, the rookie from Iowa, brings it back out to the 30-yard line. 2 good run backs for Casper, trying to win a job as a wideout and kick returner. 8:54 left, first quarter. 3-0 Packers. Olandis Gary, you see his numbers last season all in one evening, all on Monday Night Football, all at St. Louis. He rushed for 80 yards against the Rams in the Monday night opener. Then a torn ACL was discovered. He was gone for the year. Terrell Davis, who will probably play this weekend in Denver, but hasn't played thus far in preseason. He too coming back from surgery. From the 29-yard line, they have Gary in the game, and Gary picks up 6 up to the 35-yard line. Denver, with its plethora of running backs, and wouldn't Brian Billick die for any of these guys, for instance, in Baltimore right now. Davis in 98, 2,000 yards. Gary in 99 in place of the injured Davis, over 1,000. And then Mike Anderson out of nowhere last year, the 26-year-old rookie at that point, almost 1,500 for Mike Shanahan.
Freaky thing about that trio, Al, is you're talking about 2 6th-round picks, and Orlandis Gary a 4th-round pick.
2nd down and 4. Greasy with time over the middle. Smith makes his 3rd catch, loses the ball. It's loose, and Denver turns it over again. So the Broncos, 2 possessions, 2 turnovers. K.D. Williams with the recovery.
And Brian Greasy did such a good job of being patient, looking off one receiver, finding Smith over the middle. And Smith he just doesn't fumble very often. He's so good at running after the catch. Kicking himself now for that fumble.
From tonight, we go to Denver. Opening night, Invesco Field at Mile High, brand new stadium, and it's the Broncos hosting the NFC champion New York Giants on Monday Night Football, year 32. Now Green Bay, after the 2nd turnover, Mealy picks up 5. Mike McKenzie, meanwhile, has an interception tonight, and he was the man who jarred the ball loose. K.D. Williams recovering on the last play.
And K.D. Williams, who's filling in for another injured Packer, linebacker Niall Diggs. Packers are really going to be tested tonight, but they're getting a lot of gifts from Denver. That defense is so decimated by injury. But that's what preseason's all about sometimes, giving the youngsters more of an opportunity to play.
2nd and 4 in the twilight. 7.5 to go in the opening period at Lambeau Field, and Farr for the first time operates out of the shotgun, fakes the inside give, good looking play, but a nice defensive play as Franks makes the catch, and Eric Brown reads it perfectly and comes up to make the hit.
I can see what you mean, Dan. Bubba's a nice tent pole to work the whole operation off of, isn't he?
Well, when you have a guy that's that big in the middle, we've seen him make the tough catch with his hands. But we're going to see him also be able to bounce off smaller defensive backs, maneuver, especially when the Packers get down in the red zone. The field shrinks so much, but Brett Favre is so good at squeezing the ball into tight spots. He really has to have confidence, which he has now in Bubba Franks, to throw him the ball when he's got somebody draped on him.
More importantly, he's good at just squeezing the ball. That thumb's completely healed, and he's feeling great.
Yeah.
Remember last year he didn't play at all in preseason because of that thumb. And on 3rd and short, he airs it out, but only white shirts are there, and it is Deltha O'Neal, but he is on the chalk. He is out of bounds. He makes the pick, but he's out of bounds.
Communication problem with Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman. You wouldn't expect that. How many years they've played together. O'Neal's got a fight with Kenoy Kennedy. And that's real close. You know, if Kennedy just lets it go, this is an easy catch for O'Neal.
Well, the Denver coaches told us Kenoy hits anything that moves, and
he sure
unfortunately
does.
even hit Delta.
Low snap, Josh Bidwell. Fair catch is called for, and they let it go into the end zone. And even though it comes out, it had gone across the goal line. So as it turns out, it's a good thing that he didn't pick it off, because they pick up 19 yards. Instead of having it at the 1, they've got it at the 20. 3-zip it at the 20. They trail 3-0. 6:21 left in the first.
Well, I watched a lot of PGA golf this weekend. I'm figuring that head's running what now? 13 on the stimp meter?
At least. Mickelson might have gotten it to the hole off that head. From the 20-yard line, this is Mike Anderson for a gain of 2. When we were talking about the Denver running backs, and any of the 3 could start for a lot of teams in the NFL. Of course, you go back to '98, Terrell Davis, and there are Anderson's numbers last year approaching 1,500 and 5.0 per carry. At the end of the '98 season, you'll recall, Terrell Davis was almost inarguably the best running back in the National Football League.
When you go for 2,000 yards, you are the best in the National Football League.
Yeah, at 5,300 in 3 years. That's unheard of.
2nd and 8, corner blitz. And it's up the middle for Anderson, who picks up 3, tackled by the middle linebacker Bernardo Harris. Davis, MVP in the first of the Broncos' 2 Super Bowl wins, and then very instrumental in the second. And there he was between '95 and '98, starting 15 of 16 games per season.
Question now, can he regain the confidence to make all those great cuts and have the speed to break away that he had during that great time?
Well, he always used to look like he was running downhill, and now you got to wonder, is he going downhill?
3rd down and 5, and that is caught. That's a first down as the catch is made by Carswell. The big question, I think, for a guy like Mike Shanahan is, do you take Terrell Davis, and you do owe him something, and you do have to be loyal to somebody like that. Do you take Terrell Davis at 80% over Olandis Gary or Mike Anderson at between 90 and 100%?
That's the decision that Shanahan hopes he has to make, Al. He hopes that Terrell Davis can get back healthy. But the one thing all those running backs have is an outstanding offensive line.
Well, the ruthless thing is who brings you the most in a trade, too.
From the 34-yard line, Greasy. And Brian looking for the sideline. Well, Eric Dickerson, a great running back. Eric, you were never in a situation like this, but give me a further take on what you think is going to happen with the Broncos.
Well, Al, you know what it'd be like? It would be like having Montana, Elway, and Favre in the backfield trying to play quarterback. I think it's not enough football. For a running back, you have to get those 15 or 20 carries to get into the groove of the football game. Also, if you get into a rush, you try to rush things, that's when you start making mistakes. That was the thing with myself and Marcus Allen when we played the Raiders. We always felt we were waiting for the other guy to come tap you on the shoulder. So you have to make a decision to be one guy is going to be the main guy. The other guys just have to be the backup.
2nd and 5 from the 39-yard line. Look out from the backside, and coming in from the corner is Todd McBride.
I'm still trying to recover from thinking about ED and Marcus Allen in the same backfield. How many defensive coordinators did that put in the loony bin?
Ed Donatel has been with this system now for 2 years, and from the right here you'll see Todd McBride jump to the inside, totally unblocked. Trey Teague too late. Mike Anderson looking to pick up. He's too late. And Donatel feels comfortable that his Packers now know his system, which is similar to what the Broncos used to run. So you would think that the Broncos would have been ready for that corner blitz.
Well, I think Trey Teague and Cooper Carlisle are competing for that position, so Trey's got to pick that man up.
Broncos take a timeout, 3rd and 14 when we come back to Green Bay.
Grade the daylight, baby. All the chalkboards have the power sweep drawn up on them.
3rd and 14. After the timeout, and she throws into traffic intended for Smith, who gets hit by Todd McBride.
They're going to call this a helmet-to-helmet hit on McBride. He goes over and apologizes to Rod Smith. Really doesn't want to hear any of that.
The next guy he should apologize to is Mike Sherman, because that's going to be a costly penalty. That's a personal foul, and instead of a 4th and 14, it's a first down.
And that's a good call, because Rod Smith was totally defensive, just defenseless. He had
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 27, after the incomplete pass. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, if Rod Smith's ears aren't ringing already, they are now as the Green Bay crowd expresses their discontent.
You know, he took about 3 steps and then got popped, but McBride led with his helmet, and he made contact with Smith's helmet. That got the flag, besides it being 3 steps too late.
Yeah, he could see the ball was on the carpet already.
First down, Denver at the 45-yard line. That's Travis McGriff in motion. They give the ball to Anderson, and Anderson, who came out of high school, then went to the Marines for 4 years, then to junior college, then 2 years at Utah, takes it up to the 50-yard line.
And his strength is doing just that, running between the tackles. He's dropped 12 pounds to be a little bit quicker, so he doesn't get caught from behind when he breaks out in the open now. But you talk about a guy that's highly motivated. Surprised last year, but now he expects to be the #1 guy.
I'd imagine training camp looks pretty easy after you've gone through Marine boot camp, too.
2nd and 6. Here is Anderson again. Gain of 1. Flag is down. Bill Carollos is offside against Green Bay. And while they march it off, we can tell you we talked to Anderson last night about what he thinks he can bring to the running back position that none of the other Broncos can.
I would say the tenacity, that mentality to never give up and continue to work hard day in, day out, and just keep grinding at it, and just keep grinding and willing to do whatever it takes. Whether it's playing the halfback or if I have to get down and play the fullback, then that'll be something I have to do.
Very engaging fellow who told us an interesting thing last night as he picks up the first down, getting to the 38. I asked him, when did you know you had made the teams? There's Gary on the sideline. But last year in training camp, Mike Anderson said, I knew when the phone didn't ring at 10 o'clock the night they made the final cuts, and not until then.
This is what he brings, and we'll take a look at the picture. Great block there by Habe, Patrick Habe, playing fullback now for the Broncos. But look at that strength, the leg drive, that's tenacity right there.
At the 38, first down, the Broncos marching down 3-0 late first period. They give it to Anderson again. First quarter workhorse takes it to the 34-yard line. Anderson has now carried 6 times for 26 yards, and we pull back from the air, and they are renovating Lambeau Field. It's a $300 million project, a little less than that actually. They're going to add 10,000 seats, keep the bowl, raise the level of the luxury boxes. There are the cranes that will be here over the next year and a half, and they'll have everything in place by 2003, but they will play this year and next year through the construction.
Well, they had to renovate. You can't exit left on Lambeau, can you? You have to stay here.
2nd and 6 from the 34. Greasy throws. That's caught by Eddie Kennison. Former Ram, former Saint, former Bear, and now trying to become solidly entrenched as Greasy's #3 receiver.
You know, guys, we've been talking about the 3 running backs, and then we also mentioned the Patrick Habeson at fullback. That points out the 4th running back, and maybe the most important deletion from this team. Howard Griffith's got nerve problems in his neck. And without him springing up the middle for these blocks, that's going to be, could that alter these 3 gentlemen's games?
And the way it looks, Griffith will be out for about half a season is what most people are speculating. On 1st and 10, Greasy throws to the end zone, and it is knocked down. Rod Smith and McBride hooking up, and a flag is thrown, and Smith is saying, give me a flag. Well, he got a flag, and now let's see who they're going to call it on.
Boy, it looked like McBride had perfect timing on this play.
The flag is, there's a flag down at the goal line. There's also one in the offensive backfield, so we have 2 separate penalties here.
The one at the goal line is going to be against McBride, no question about that. But that's the other one, so the play will be nullified.
Holding against Denver, interference against Green Bay.
Holding, number 70, offense. Pass interference, number 27, defense. Penalties offset. Replay first down.
Could be tricky a couple weeks hence watching the substitute referees figuring this sort of stuff out, huh, Al?
Well, we'll talk about that at the half with Pat Bolin, the owner of the Broncos, who's involved in the discussions.
There's Trey Teague holding Kabir Bajabiamila. And here's the pass interference call against McBride. He pushes just a little bit too soon. You know, he could have gone with just the right hand and knocked the ball away, but he had to add the left-hand push in the middle of the back.
1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Anderson in motion, so with the backfield vacant, Greasy throws over the middle. That's caught by Smith. He takes it to the 10 for a 1st down on what figures to be the final play of the period. And Rod Smith has 4 catches for 52 yards. Amigos, next Monday we'll be in Mexico City. The Dallas Cowboys take on the Oakland Raiders. The American Bowl next Monday from Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Denny.
Green Bay to Mexico City, from cheddar cheese to nacho cheese. Al, looking forward to it, my friend.
What a scene that is down there with about 110,000 people. 1st and goal as we start the 2nd quarter. Greasy throws it away. So the Green Bay secondary does its job. Greasy forced to throw it out of the back of the end zone. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, Rod Smith did not play last week when the Broncos played against the Cowboys, but he's certainly getting his work in tonight. 4 catches, 52 yards. Been involved in a number of plays. Fumbled once.
Is Big Eddie McCaffrey in? I haven't heard his name yet.
He was only going to play 10 plays because he'd been sick earlier in the week, so he's out of the game. But that gives, again, youngsters opportunities that they have to take advantage of.
And a longer look at Eddie Kennison. Here is Smith. 5th catch. Smith to the 3-yard line. Tackled by Todd McBride, setting up a 3rd down and goal.
You know, he reminds me so much of Jerry Rice after the catch, because he catches the ball and he's the quickest receiver at turning up the field after the catch. Just a one-step pattern, and look how fast he squares up on the defensive back Todd McBride, gives him a straight arm, gets outside him and down close enough to the goal line.
Well, you know, he's got that quick acceleration, Dan. He had 28 receptions of over 20 or more yards last year.
And that's the key, is that quick first step.
He and Torrey Holt, man, they're off to the races when they catch it.
And before
Timeout.
the Broncos
Green
can
Bay
get off the 3rd and goal,
1st charge. Timeout.
Green Bay did not like its defensive personnel. They take a timeout. Greasy comes to the sideline to discuss the next play with Shanahan and Gary Kubiak. 3rd and goal when we come back. And it doesn't matter whether it's regular season or preseason. Nary a ticket to be had. Rod Smith had lined up at fullback, now flanks out. 3rd down and goal after the timeout, and they give it to Anderson. Fighting, but stopped inside the 1. Cut it back. Looked like he was going to get in, and then the Packer surge stops him at the 1-yard line.
You know, he talked about that tenacity. Well, this is what it's all about. That was a long way to go to try to get in the end zone from 3.5 yards out. But watch the leg drive. It never stops. He's looking for a crack anywhere. Now he's going to get some help from behind. Just too many green shirts there.
Certainly an instance there where you want Howard Griffin blowing that Fisher up.
I bet they try it one more time. Hape is a big guy leading that at 260.
Going for it on 4th down and goal. And this time it's the play fake and wide open, as so often happens to Hape. A very similar play that they used last week to score against Dallas. Fake it to the back, and then Hape, it's free in the end zone for the touchdown.
They gave it such a good, strong run look with Hape coming off the tight end side. Greasy, one of the better ball fakers. He was great at the University of Michigan doing just that. Faking to Mike Anderson, the soft touch to Hape, who makes the fingertip catch. Wow.
Well, that's what Hape gives you the Griffith doesn't. He's a converted tight end. He's like Kleinsasser from Minnesota, but he's got great hands.
Big target at 6'4".
Jason Elam with Tom Ruin holding. The kick is good. So aided by that late hit by McBride on that 3rd and 14. That personal foul proved very costly to Green Bay. Denver leads by 4. Guerrero was back in Hawaii. Look at that shot.
Wow. Ozone problems? Who says so? That's why people move to Green Bay. The sun sets, my friend.
Sun going. We just want to have fun till the sun goes down over Santa Monica Boulevard.
Wow. Wow. A little Sheryl Crow groupie there.
Yeah. Allen Rawson. Back to receive Jason Elam's kick from the 11. Up to the 33-yard line. That's where they'll shut up shop. This is like a religious experience, of course. Then he came to Green Bay for the first time last year. How long do you think it would take you to get off the waiting list for a season ticket here?
Well, I was looking into it. It's 56,000 people. The next guy to get on first turned his name in 1970. So I'm hoping he's not some disappointed Phil Bankston fan or something when he finally does get the ticket. They have less turnover in this fan base in the Supreme Court.
Dan, did you ever play here?
Played here twice. One very memorable one not so. Broke a thumb one day.
I think you told me the Matt Stork took your digit out, didn't he?
Yeah, Ted Hendricks, the Hall of Fame linebacker, was with the Packers for a short time between stints in Baltimore and Oakland.
Just long enough to ruin your
Prior to
thumb.
the snap, false start, snap infraction, 5-yard penalty, number 58. Replay first out.
Now that's how a center can be offsides. He false started himself. He kind of jerked the ball and obviously forgot what the snap count was. But you don't expect that from the center.
All the time I've been watching Grid, I've never heard the snap infraction called. You learn something every day.
There you go. Well, you've now done 20 games. I guess you've just about seen it all.
My first snap infraction. I feel like a man.
Pop the champagne.
From the 28, first and 15 as Favre. Boom. In the middle. Caught by Mealy. He gets tackled by Romanowski, and we go to Melissa.
It is amazing that Mike Flanagan is a starting center in the NFL. 3 years ago, actually in 1996, he was a promising third-round pick for the Green Bay Packers. In his second preseason game during the opening kickoff, he suffered a brutal injury, a compound fracture in his right lower leg. His heel actually rolled up and touched his knee. He wasn't on an active roster for 2 years. After intense rehabilitation, he actually came back, played some games. Last year, was traded to Carolina. The doctors there took one look at his x-rays, sent him right back, and he has beaten out Frank Winters for the starting job.
The longtime center Frank Winters as Favre hits Freeman, and Ian Gold makes the hit up near a first down.
Well, the doctors must have did a heck of a job on Flanagan, because when we were talking to the coaches yesterday, they stressed how agile he is. So the leg evidently is completely healed.
Yeah, the thing about Flanagan, he's more athletic. He's a lot younger than Frank Winters. Watch the route inside here by Antonio Freeman, finding the dead spot in the zone. That's the confidence that Favre has in Antonio, that he's going to find that spot, give him a good target.
3rd and 1 from the 42-yard line. And now Mealy, who played his college ball at LSU, made a nice debut last year in preseason before he tore his knee up and spent the whole season on injured reserve, and is trying to stay with the team as the number 3 back. Of course, they have Amon Green not playing tonight. Dorsey Levin's not playing tonight, so he's trying to win the number 3 job. As you look at the man they called old bag of donuts, Frankie Winters.
Well, he knows what it's like in the belly of the beast there. He's fought the wars for a long time, and if Flanagan falters, you've obviously got a real solid guy coming in after him.
Winters in his 15th season. Flanagan in his 6th. 1st and 10 at the 46. Favre again throwing off his back foot, but throws it behind Antonio Freeman, who was covered by Denard Walker.
You know, we've got Amon Green and Dorsey Levens at that halfback position, but Mealy's got to get past Amon Parker too. I think Sherman feels a bit of an allegiance to Parker. Made that big first down for him in that Christmas Eve Tampa Bay game last year, and Sherman even mentioned in our meeting, so he seems to have a sense of loyalty there to Damon.
We'll see Damon Parker tonight. There he is, and we'll also probably see Herbert Whisper Goodman.
Where is our good friend, the Whisper?
He'll be in the game.
That was a fun story last year. The kid looked great that one night we had him.
Yeah. 2nd and 10 from the 46-yard line. Favre. Still throws that fastball like nobody else. Schrader, 8-yard gain.
You know, Schrader was coming back to the ball, and when the ball got to Schrader, it changed Schrader's direction. It helped him turn down the field. That ball was thrown so hard by Brett Favre. 84 is Schrader. Watch him on the crossing route here. Broncos with just a 4-man rush, no pressure at all on Favre, but watch the ball help Schrader get turned down the field.
Schrader didn't even have to catch that because it was sticking.
Yeah, that's a self-defense catch right there. He's going to have a bruise on that right bicep tomorrow.
Schrader last year 999 receiving yards. And on 3rd and short, here goes Mealy around the corner for a first down inside the 35 off a William Henderson block.
This is what Mealy gives Mike Sherman. He gives him a big back at 6 foot 224 pounds with the speed to get around the corner and then punish tacklers down the field. Mealy, you talked about those 6th-round draft picks for Denver, Dennis. Well, Mealy was a 7th-round pick out of LSU last year. Watch the speed, right in the hole, and now he's finishing off the run by taking on Eric Brown.
7th round's the last round now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's a nice dividend.
Cheap, too.
Favre out of the gun, inside handoff. Mealy runs into his own lineman. Gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9 with 10 minutes to go in the half, and Denver leading Green Bay 7-3.
Mealy tapping on his helmet, a little winded. So we will see Whisper Goodman in the backfield now.
Hey, I like the tools Favre has to work with this year, guys. I mean, you're talking about 5-6 deep with those wideouts. Amon Green was great last year. If Dorsey can come back.
Yeah, Tom Rossley says he wants to surround Brett Favre with as many explosive players because it's a high percentage short passing game, and let him use that ability to make big plays.
It's got a lot of tools.
2nd and 9. And in and out of the hands of Corey Bradford, who's a guy with a lot of potential but has yet to manifest it, and somebody they would love to see step up and assume a much larger role with Favre.
But Sherman said solidly that he is his 3-man, you know, after Schrader and Antonio Freeman.
Solidly until he drops a pass like that. Opinions can change in a hurry in training camp and in preseason games.
So they have a rookie, Robert Ferguson, they drafted in the 2nd round. Also Charles Lee, 2nd year out of Central Florida. They like him. So Bradford does have to step it up. 3rd down and 9. Blitz. Favre. And there's Bradford, and Bradford drops that one.
Oh. Wow, I put the mojo on him,
You
man.
did.
Huh?
Oh, you did.
Sorry about that.
He just went from 3 to 7.
You know, Favre's the only one who can throw the heater off his back foot like that.
The Broncos bought pressure. That let Favre know that he could throw this ball early, throw it to the post to Bradford. Bradford jumps too early. Ball goes right through his hands.
Ooh.
That was a potential touchdown for number 4.
Ooh, that look is worse than getting cut.
48-yard field goal attempt now for Ryan Longwell.
Wow.
And the snap is errant. And the Denver Broncos will wind up with the ball on the Green Bay side of the field. Rob Davis was the snapper, and Bill Romanowski winds up with it.
Bradford wasn't the holder, was he?
Doug Peterson was the holder. The snap on the first one was high, and this one was even higher. Football season will kick off this weekend on ABC. 2 games on Saturday. TCU against 4th-ranked Nebraska in the Pigskin Classic. And then Sunday at 2 Eastern time, Syracuse against 13th-ranked Georgia Tech. So college football back on ABC beginning this weekend. College football Saturday, Sunday, and we'll be in Mexico City for Dallas against Oakland next Monday. Gus Frerotte takes over at quarterback, so Brian Greasy finished for the night at the 44-yard line. And Gus, good play fake, throws deep, but everybody covered and throws it out of bounds. Before we go much farther, Gus wanted to send his very best to his dad, who will be having surgery tomorrow.
Open heart surgery for Gus Frerotte, Sr. We wish him the very best. Gus Jr. Holds a golf tournament in the offseason for the American Heart Association. So doing all the right things. We send our best wishes, obviously.
Gus Frerotte came over to Denver last year as the backup quarterback. And there is Steve Berline, who would be either number 2 or number 3, but Berline's going to be shelved for a while. More on that in a second. 2nd down and 10 from the 44-yard line. Melandis Gary. Berline's been around so long, Danny played for Mike Shanahan when Shanahan coached the Raiders in '87.
Shanahan coached the Raiders?
Yes, he played '88. Yeah.
For how long?
A season and a third.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
The last paycheck hasn't come yet, though.
You know the mail.
You know, the way they might play this quarterback thing is if Berline's out for a good chunk of time here. Sure, Frerotte will be the number 2 guy this year. I think his contract's up. He's going to want more money next year. Maybe it's time to let him go, and Berline will be healed up by then, come back as the #2 guy next year.
You see the experience, most of Farrat's experience at Washington, and a good part of Berline's experience in the last several years at Carolina. He was their #1 quarterback last year, and on 3rd and 9, Farrat incomplete, intended for Carswell. Rush was on that time. Farrat had to get it away in a hurry, and it's 3 and out for Denver.
Farrat was outstanding last week against the Cowboys. 0 for 2 tonight on this first 3-play drive, and then punt.
Well, you know, when Farrat came in last year during one game, he actually set Denver's all-time one-game passing yardage record. 460 yards.
You saw Nick Harris. This is one of the interesting stories in camp. Tom Ruin's been their longtime punter, but it's a real battle right now because Harris was picked in the 4th round, and that's, I don't have to tell you, very high for a punter. And he drops that one at the 10 as Rawson lets it bounce, and they will down it there. So Harris trying to unseat Ruin, and that battle will continue, I'm sure, right up until the beginning of the regular season. Look at Terry Bradshaw and his home winning percentage, and Favre would rank 2nd since 1950 in that category, with Staubach and Elway at over 80%.
Must be something in that bayou water down there.
Yeah. Second and 10 from the 11. Neely. Dan, most guys would say Peyton Manning would rank #1 in their book. Most scouts would say, but where do you put Favre right now in his career?
Well, I think he's the best in the game when he's healthy, as he appears to be now. He's battled some injuries the last couple of years, and you always have to worry about that when a player's played as much as he has. But he's such a great leader. The confidence he gives this team, and the way that he can make the big play to electrify not only the crowd but his team as well. Favre's at the top of his game right now, and I think that's the reason why the Packers have to be considered a serious playoff contender.
3rd down and 3. You saw the Ring of Honor with Bart Starr's name, and someday that ring will have #4's name up there as well. Chester McLaughlin is hurt. He's down.
Prior to the snap, false start, 84, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
False start by Schrader, but McLaughlin, who came over from Kansas City, the former Raider, former Chief. This is not a scene that Mike Shanahan enjoys looking at.
Well, Trevor Price inadvertently is going to hit Chester McLaughlin. Watch the 2 tackles here. They're running a stunt, and Price's right leg will hit McLaughlin's left leg, and that is a knee injury, or perhaps best case scenario just a bruise. But Trevor Price is a big man, as is Chester McLaughlin.
Well, the
big
only
collision
thing
there, Dennis.
Yeah, the only good thing you can say from that picture is his foot did not stick in the turf. He got hit right square on the side of the knee, but it did come up.
And that's the equivalent of like a cut block or a chop block, and I rarely do you see that in that particular scenario.
You know, strange part about football injuries is that sometimes with a knee, the more pain you are in, the better it is, because if you just partially tear or tweak a knee, it's very painful. If you totally tear a ligament, there is no pain because there is no ligament. So this is an excellent sign for Denver. #1, that McLaughlin was in pain, but even better than that, he's walking off the field.
We, of course, got that information from team trainer the Marquis de Sade.
It is weird, though. I mean, the trainers will tell you when you're down there, does it hurt a lot? And you say, yeah. He said, well, that's good. It'll go away. Just hang in there. Takes a while for that pain to go away, though.
Well, nice to see Big Chet up, because the coaches say that since he's come over from Kansas City, he's been playing his butt off for him.
And the man who replaces him is another familiar name. Number 94 is Leon Lett, the longtime Cowboy. Now a Bronco. Favre drops the ball and then recovers it, but it's 4th down, and the Packers will punt from deep in their own territory.
See, Leon comes into the game, people start fumbling, including Leon.
Snap hits Favre in the left knee.
And that was Frank Winters snapping at that time.
Heads up by Favre, getting on that loose ball, but the Packers playing sloppy now in the 2nd quarter.
Josh Bidwell, the former Oregon Duck, to punt.
Go Ducks.
Kevin Kasper's had 2 nice kickoff returns. And now a decent punt return as he takes it across the 5th inning. He's knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line with 6:13 to play in the opening half.
Well, Mr. Kasper certainly looks like he understands the transaction back there. Go north-south as far as you can, then look for somebody to hit.
Yeah, he's got that mentality of a safety that Mike Shanahan says is so rare in a wide receiver. But he did this. The one thing you got to do as a punt return, make that first guy miss, and then take your chances on the sidelines.
Mike Shanahan will be 49 years old on Friday. Still a young man despite being around longer than most of the coaches now heading up teams in the National Football League. Tremendous success, 2 Super Bowl wins. I mean, he is in anybody's top 3.
State of the art.
Mike Anderson picks up 3. Let's go down to ED. Eric?
Here with Terrell Davis, Broncos running back. Terrell, can you tell me, when do you think you'll play your first preseason game?
Probably next week. Yeah, that's when I'm scheduled to play against New Orleans.
Now, you know how the critics are. A lot of critics are saying that Terrell Davis cannot come back and be the same player that he was when he ran for 2,000 yards. What do you have to say to them?
I mean, that's fine. You know, everybody's going to have their opinion about different things, but, you know, I know what I can do when I'm healthy. So my main focus is just to be healthy and play next week and take it game by game.
Now, what if you're not given the chance to compete for your starting position? Would you be comfortable in a backup role?
No, I don't think that would be the situation here. I think I'm going to have every opportunity to retain my starting position, so I'm not worried about that. You know, if I get the opportunity to go ahead and do what I have to do, then it's up to me. If I fail to do that, then everything lies on my shoulders.
Thanks. Thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, well, there is Olandis Gary, who's on the bench. You just saw Mike Anderson run for a first down, and pretty much what I'd expect Terrell to say. How could he be happy in a backup role?
Yeah, and Shanahan says he'll play half next week against New Orleans and then half against San Francisco, and that will give Shanahan the chance to compare him to the other 2 backs.
And Shanahan said before the hamstring he looked great.
Anderson for 1.5 yards. That was some scene down in the field when you see Eric Dickerson standing next to Terrell Davis. And here's what we mean. Look at that. Over 3 consecutive seasons, Davis from 96 to 98, 5,200 yards, and then Eric between 84 and 86 with the Rams would be second. Barry Sanders and Earl Campbell, pretty good panel.
Yeah, that's a good fearsome foursome there, isn't it?
So Eric will make his 2001 debut when they open up their new stadium against the Saints on Saturday in Denver. And that pass is thrown behind Patrick Hay. Check in with Melissa.
Alan, injury update on Chester McLaughlin. Official word from the Broncos. He has a sprained left knee. He's icing it now on the sidelines.
Okay, and it's preseason, so I would doubt we would see him back in the game. There's no reason to see him back in the game.
And it's really unfortunate that we haven't been able to see him play more tonight, because he, at 335 pounds, is that run stuffer. He's the guy that will occupy the guard and center and allow Al Wilson to use his speed as a middle linebacker.
You know, Shanahan got so stung on the Dale Carter thing, I'm surprised he went back to the KC well for another import.
3rd and 9. Farrat steps up, hits Anderson. Mike breaks 2 tackles and then tries to roll his way forward, but is shy of the first down by a couple. Stopped at the 30 by Chris Akins.
It's interesting. When we talked to Anderson last night, he said the one thing he wants to improve on is his participation in the passing game, running routes, learning defenses. But one thing he's got is the ability to make people miss. It's just a checkoff throw by Farrat as he steps up into the pocket nicely. Watch one miss here, but that's Bernardo Harris. Then McGarahan. That's 3 Packers until Flanagan gets over to bring him down.
And Denver going for it, lining up on 4th down and 2. And Farrat throws it away, and then Anderson can't make the catch. Farrat was being swallowed up and somehow got it out of there, and Anderson pounding the grass in frustration.
He had a lot of room to run, didn't he, Dennis?
Yeah, I just think Anderson was surprised to see Farrat come out of that hive.
I don't think he saw the ball. I mean, look at this ball comes from the hip. It's right on target. Anderson looking downfield just before the ball got there. This is a great play by Farrat. Hanging tough in the pocket, and look at that room. all the way down the sidelines. He might have got in the end zone.
Now, that's the very definition of knowing where your drop-off receiver is there. Farrat was fighting for his very life, and yet he just knew the place where he'd be.
Getting instructions on the sidelines. Catch the ball with your hands. Don't let it get into your body.
Meanwhile, Favre now, he's going to play the whole half, apparently. And Antonio Freeman up at the 35-yard line. Antonio Freeman was coming along brilliantly early in his career, was signed for enormous money a couple of years ago. And there's the comparison, 97 and 98, and what he's done over the last 2 years. And in Green Bay, it's become fashionable to say the money spoiled him. But he still has his moments. He still has his moments in the doghouse, too, though. He was suspended for the last game last season.
Ooh, man.
Billy Jenkins makes the acquaintance of Herbert Goodman.
Yeah, he's competing with Kenoy Kennedy for that strong safety spot. He just made an impression on the coach and on the running back.
I think Billy's a little cranky about having to compete with Kenoy, and he took it out there on the pack.
Well, rarely do you get such a free shot as he comes on the run blitz here. Watch 32 hit Whisper, and I'm afraid Whisper heard all of that.
Whew.
On 3rd and 4. Favre slings it to the sideline. Schrader had to stop, covered by Spencer. And it's 4th down, and the Packers will punt.
Do you think that Ray Rhodes has got an edge in this game? I mean, he's got these guys coming hard. They're blitzing a lot in this game. It's a preseason game. I just get the feeling that Ray's trying to prove a point here tonight.
Ray, the defensive coordinator now of the Denver Broncos. There he was as the head coach in Philadelphia for 4 years, then hired by Ron Wolf to coach here in '99, and Wolf felt he made a mistake. 8-8 season. Out he went. Defensive coordinator at Washington last year, and now under Shanahan in Denver. As Bidwell's punt stops at the 23-yard line. So the 2-minute warning comes with $1:51 to go in the half. And Denny memories. How about this Brett Favre run in the rainstorm? It was raining so hard that night in Chicago. It was raining horizontally as he scored in those throwback uniforms. On the Lexus halftime show, a walk down memory lane. We'll also talk with Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos, very intimately involved in the negotiations. There is Pat with the NFL officials. Dennis talked about it before. There's the possibility of a lockout by the NFL that could take place the last weekend of preseason action, 2 weeks from now. From the 23-yard line on 1st down, Farrat gives the ball to Olandis Gary, who works his way to the outside. And just to bring you up to date, the league met with the officials representative Tom Condon in New York today. 4-hour meeting. The league increased the 401k and pension offers, but league officials didn't move off their demands for what the officials want as huge salary demands. League says in the 400 to 500% range, as the catch is made by Eddie Kennison. And the league is apparently hinting at beginning not only to look for officials, which they've already stated, replacement officials, but perhaps holding a clinic before the end of the month to get them in place.
You know, Al, I'm a little worried about the caliber of the replacement refs. I saw Ian Woosnan's caddy's name on the list.
That would give you pause.
Andy Von Helleman, you know.
Yeah, they talk about the integrity of the game. How can they talk about the integrity of the NFL and have replacement officials? Well, I know they did it with replacement players. That stunk. It'll stink just as bad with the replacement refs.
We'll talk to Pat Bowlen about it. You know, it's funny how they spin it. You can spin the numbers any way you want as timeout is taken here. But look, we all know how you can, accountants, the bean counters can spin the numbers any way they want. So what the officials are basically saying is, and you can put up all the panels you want, they make less money than the officials in the NBA or the NHL or Major League Baseball. But on the other side of the coin, you could point out that the officials on a per game basis make a lot more than those other officials.
Now, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to go to full-time officials and make an agreement so that these guys are paid as well as the officials in the other sports, because the part-time thing, these guys do a great job, but why don't we just make them full-time and make them on par financially with the other one?
That's been talked about a lot, but my question is, what do they do the rest of the year? I mean, most of the officials in the National Football League are professional men. They're lawyers. We have doctors. We have engineers. we have professional people who I don't think would give up their jobs.
No, but nothing wrong with having 2 jobs as they have now.
3rd down and 1 as Farrat throws, and getting wide open is Travis McGriff into Green Bay territory, and he's out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Well, the old hook and go got the Packers secondary that time. Todd McBride is going to be beat by Travis McGriff. McGriff is not a big guy, but he's got great moves. Great sell of that slant route. McBride can do nothing but just watch him go down the sidelines and hope that Darren Sharper can push him out of bounds.
Wow.
The first part of that play is for Farrat to make it look like it's a slant. That's why you saw that pump fake there.
Todd McBride was baked McBride on that play.
From the 34. Gary picks up 6. I haven't heard Bake McBride's name mentioned in about 15 years.
Right. Was fast on the base pass, wasn't he?
Philadelphia, St. Louis. Yes, he was. Good outfielder. Melissa.
Here in Lambeau Field, we are reminded of the many great Packer traditions. One in particular started in the mid-60s during the Bart Starr era, and it still continues today. Players in the preseason ride little kids' bikes from the locker room down to the practice field. Coach Mike Sherman even joins in the fun the first day of camp. The last 2 years, he's ridden as well. The players say, just like the Lambeau Leap, just like Cheeseheads, it's what the Packers are all about. They say it's a tradition that will never be broken out.
Packers currently have 40 men on the IR with pulled groins, Al. I would hasten to add.
You know, I think earlier I mentioned Amon Green had a hamstring pull. Actually, it was a groin pull. So he's one of them.
They got to get those kids bigger bikes.
Adam Sandler in the crowd.
2nd and 3.
That's my guy now.
That's right. Dan was and Brent Musburger were the stars of that movie. Farrat gets spun down by Cledius Hunt. Now that's a fine play to make in August. The problem with Cledius is they won't have him in September. He is suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season for violating the league substance abuse policy.
Farrat's got to throw that ball away when he's in the grasp like that. He lost a lot of valuable yardage.
3rd and 14. That catch is made by Travis McGriff, but well short of the first. Tackled by McBride. Clock keeps rolling. Ball at the 29. Be 4th down. And they're going to bring in the field goal unit. There's a punting battle in Denver, but there's no question as to who will be their place kicker. Once again, Mr. Jason Elam in his 9th year. And timeout is taken here by Green Bay, so they'll conserve Dyken. Ruin and Elam each in his 9th season. Jason now, who, as you know, along with Dempsey, holds the NFL mark, 63 yards. So this is like a chip shot for him. 46.
7-iron.
But he hooked it. Should have laid up.
In the heavy tundra air.
19 seconds left in the half. Well, we'll go to Denver 3 weeks from tonight. Invesco Field at Mile High, and that's created a big flap in Denver because the Denver Post refuses to call it anything but the new Mile High. But there is the official name of it. Pat Boland commissioned that sculpture outside the edifice, and there it is. A look at it. It opened up to an Eagles concert the other night. They'll play 2 preseason games there. There'll be a college game as well, and then Monday Night Football on September 10th. Favre throws, and that's incomplete up at the 50-yard line, intended for Bradford.
Hey, Brett is bringing the heat tonight, but he's got to find himself a catcher because there's a lot of dropsies here. Some of these balls are impaling these people, and they're not catching.
Well, this is he did what time for Brett Favre, and Bradford's going to try and catch this one off his back. It's only Antonio Freeman can do that, but Bradford having a rough night. We saw him drop 2 earlier in the 2nd quarter.
Well, Mobley made it even rougher for him to make that last catch. Second and 10 now from the 37-yard line. Favre paying the price and dropping it was Freeman. Oh. And Antonio wants to know who did what.
Well, they got a flag on that helmet-to-helmet hit.
That's Eric Brown who blasted him.
Well, you got a lot of big hitters in that Denver secondary.
You got to wonder about, you know, the guy's just trying to make a play on the ball. Watch Freeman. He knows this ball's coming fast, and you just cannot lead with your head.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 27 defense. Helmet-to-helmet to a defenseless player. Automatic first down.
Well, that's a double hit. Did you see the first thing that hits the ground is the back of Freeman's head? So he gets a shot by Brown right there. Then his head hits the ground. You're talking concussion here for sure. What? That may draw a fine. That will draw a fine.
That's a fine or a suspension.
Yeah. You just can't do it. I mean, this isn't a new rule. This rule's been around for a long time. Just ask Chuck Cecil.
It's all
Mark Carrier.
Dan, you're the only one who can speak to this. You're the only one who's been out there. It's all happening so fast, though. Is Eric Brown really premeditating a helmet-to-helmet hit there?
Absolutely. These guys are great athletes. Eric Brown's a great athlete, or he wouldn't be playing in the NFL. He knows that he can't do that. That he could make a play on that ball. Heck, he could have almost picked that ball off.
But the most disconcerting part of this right now is Freeman's down on the ground, and they're high-fiving each other. And Brown doesn't appear to be particularly concerned about it.
Yeah, that's the mentality of defensive backs. I mean, they're supposed to be hitters, and Brown is a good one. But he should be over there concerned about the welfare of number 86. The scary thing is the back of the head on the ground. You get the shot in the chops right there, and then all of your 200 pounds or so that Freeman weighs comes down on the back of his head.
Well, Dan, didn't you once tell me the most frightening injury you had in the NFL was hitting the back of your helmet on the turf once, right?
Well, I broke the back of my helmet getting hit. Not like that, but the first thing that hit was the back of my helmet. I tell you one thing, he's walking off the field, but he's got no idea.
Wow, that's a resilient guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's smiling because he knows that's the hardest hit he's going to take this year.
That's a career shot. He's lucky he's not seriously injured.
Well, thank God.
Yep.
First assessed penalty against Denver tonight.
So you're smelling suspension there, guys.
No, I'm not saying that, but it's the kind of hit that the league obviously looks at carefully.
Well, they're looking to protect players, defenseless players, as Freeman was.
We're not going to do Gene Washington's job.
No, I don't want to do that.
He'll go over it tomorrow very carefully. From the 48-yard line, Favre. That's Whisper Goodman, who quietly steps out of bounds. The 44.
Well, nice half of work for Brett Favre tonight.
Now, we're going to leave it to the league to decide, because too often what happens is we say something, the writers pick it up, say that we caused the suspension or a fine. We're not saying that. This is the kind of thing. It's evident, it's clear, and Gene Washington looks at it tomorrow, and he doesn't hear the commentary when he looks at the tape. They make the call.
It's pretty much a no-brainer.
I mean, Gene Washington doesn't get to hear us?
He's got us on mute. 2nd and 6 from the 44. Launching into the end zone and incomplete, and that is the way the first half will end. Coming up next will be our Lexus halftime show, race to the 20,000th point. We'll talk to Pat Bowlen about the negotiations with the officials. They boo Eric Brown and the Broncos as they leave the field. Halftime score 7-3 Denver. Back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
Nelson to throw. Throws for Collins. Touchdown.
Bill Nelson's pass to Gary Collins gave the Cleveland Browns the distinction of scoring the first points in Monday night history.
Bradshaw firing. Forget it. Dick Anderson is third and touchdown.
Dolphins have scored the most points in Monday Night history with 1,467. The most points by a team in a single Monday night game.
Dickerson's huge night continues his 4th touchdown.
Indianapolis, led by Eric Dickerson's 4 TDs. The Colts rung up a Monday night high 55 points against Denver on Halloween night 1988. Kicking for the Steelers, Eagles, Niners, and Vikings. Gary Anderson has amassed the most individual Monday night points with 215. But when it comes to position players, the all-time leader is the incomparable Jerry Rice with 194. Almost 20,000 points. The most memorable? Take your pick.
There it is, Joe Washington. How could it happen? What a football game this turned out to be. Campbell, look out. He's gone. He's gone all the way. Big opening for Tony Dorsett. 99 yards and a half. Can you believe that? They're giving the football to Perry. Touchdown. William Perry spikes the football. And Bo Jackson. There goes Bo. And nobody catches Bo. Touchdown. Look at that agility. Special right there.
He throws to the end zone.
Ward, you can take me now. I've seen it all.
Favre lays it up for Freeman, and it's incomplete. Or did he make the catch at the 15?
Yes.
What are they going to rule it? He caught it? Touchdown. He did what? So that 20,000 milestone will be coming up probably sometime in October. There will be a contest to see if you can pick who will score point number 20,000 on Monday Night Football. Details will be forthcoming shortly. Meanwhile, tonight, just 1 touchdown in the game on 4th. Used to see a lot of time at running back in the second half. After we saw Whisper Goodman complete the first half in relief of Rondell Mealy. Parker takes the kick at the 8-yard line. And DeMond breaking tackles, runs it all the way out to the 48-yard line. So one of the guys trying to win that number 3 running back spot helps himself. Let's check in with Melissa.
An injury update on Antonio Freeman. He suffered the blow to the head just before the end of the half. He suffered a concussion. Now, he was not scheduled to play in the second half tonight anyway, but if it was a regular season game, he wouldn't play either.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so after a hit like that from Eric Brown at the end of the first half.
If it was the Super Bowl, I don't think he'd be playing after that hit.
From the 47-yard line, first down. And Doug Peterson is the new quarterback. The once and current Packer throws, and there's a flag thrown. In fact, there are 3 of them, as if Corey Bradford didn't have a struggle with Keith Burns.
Keith Burns ran into him before the ball got there.
Defensive pass interference, 55. Automatic first down.
Burns, the middle linebacker. He's trying to get back into his drop. Now he's going to go here from Mike Shanahan. But watch as he turns, number 55 right there. And he makes contact long before the ball gets to Bradford.
I did not see the penalty. Looked like tight coverage.
You're a replacement official. Here is Whisper Goodman to the outside, trying to make a little noise. We can take a look at, as we pull up the first half statistics tonight of the game. It's a 4-point game at the moment, 7-3 Denver.
Ryan Greasy with a good first half, 8 out of 11, but did throw the 1 interception, does have 1 touchdown pass, a 1-yarder to Patrick Hape. But you would expect the Broncos to be leading in total yards, one of the best offenses in the National Football League. Alex Gibbs there, the semi-retired offensive line coach, huh, Dennis?
Yeah, it seems like he's there a lot for being retired.
Here's Peterson throwing, and that is caught. That's pulled in by Donald Driver. We'll see a lot of Driver in the second half, and a first down to the 21.
Actually, to explain the Alex Gibbs thing, Shanahan said that Alex had some health considerations, decided to wind it down a little this year, and since he did, he's feeling a lot better, and see how much time he can spend with the team as it goes along.
They did an interesting thing, too. They moved Rick Dennison, who was a linebacker during his playing career and the longtime special teams coach, over to coach the offensive line.
Alex has got no paperwork in his future. That's the guy's going to be drawing up all the X's and O's for that offensive line.
He's got special team coach eyes.
Here is Herbert Goodman picking up 3 to the 18-yard line.
Well, good for Dennison, man. He's really been a team player there. That's got to be a bit of a quandary for a guy.
I talked to Shanahan about that move last winter, and Mike said, you know, I said to Rick, look, you can be a special teams coach or be a specialist the rest of your career. I think you can do a little bit more. If you move to the other side of the ball, who knows? Maybe someday you'll be a head coach.
Plus, the tutelage of Alex Gibbs is, you know, as good as it gets in the league.
Pretty good mentor there, huh?
Second down and 7 now at the 18-yard line. Peterson throws. Goodman makes the catch, and he is wrestled down 2 yards shy of the first down by the former 49er, Lee Woodall.
Peterson is in competition with Billy Joe Tolliver for the backup quarterback job behind Brett Favre. Peterson has got the edge so far. He knows the offense. Better athlete than Billy Joe, and just made one mistake last week in the game against Cleveland when he threw an interception in the red zone.
And fresh off the presses, Michael Bishop, the quarterback from Kansas State, who was cut by New England last week, was picked up on waivers by Green Bay tonight. So he'll be coming to Wisconsin this week to get into that competition, as Herbert Goodman gets stopped short of the first down.
Goodman just a little bit slow seeing the hole to the outside. If he were to see it a little bit sooner, and that comes with experience, he'd be in the end zone right now. Watch the hole to the outside here. He jumps to it just a little bit late, and Jerry Johnson brings him down.
Now a 31-yard field goal attempt coming up for Ryan Longwell. Good snap this time. Kick is good. Rob Davis, who had 2 errant snaps. This one from 31 for Longwell. 7-6 Bronx.
How many's that stadium fit out?
About 112,000.
Wow.
Now we are heading south, really south.
Then they put the fire marshal comes in at 117,000. Chris Cole up to the 26-yard line.
Well, in the competition for the #1 running back spot for the Broncos, Mike Anderson had a great first half, averaging 4 yards a carry on 10 carries, showing the leg drive and the power that he feels is his strength. But the one thing about Anderson, wants to improve in this part of the game. A nice job with his lone reception, but he's got to be able to catch the ball with his hands. He dropped a critical pass from Gus Frerotte on that one.
Each of the 2 averaging exactly 4 yards per carry to this point. First and 10 from the 27-yard line, and Anderson loses the football, and the Packers have it at the 19-yard line. So they turn it over again to the Broncos. Donnie Spragan is the man who created the fumble.
Unfortunately, piggybacked right on that replay.
Yeah, really, because it's the last impression sometimes that is the strongest one.
Dante Curry recovered it.
The handoff's fine. Here's the hit by Spragan. He just rips the ball loose. Heads up by Spragan, getting his right hand on the ball, but Anderson's got to be stronger than that.
And Leroy Butler gave us a big thumbs up on Dante Curry in our meeting with him yesterday.
He blocked a punt last week on special teams against Cleveland, and then comes up with that recovery.
Anderson, their #1 back most of last season, with 4 fumbles last year and over 300 handles of the ball. Peterson backing up, throws, caught by Driver inside the 10. Touchdown Packers.
offensive coordinator Tom Rossley told me that Donald Driver is a 7'6" high jumper. Well, he's a pretty good hurdler too. Watch the explosion after the catch. Went up high to catch it, and then he hurdles and gets into the end zone. That's the explosive package that some of these young receivers give the Packer offense now.
And up by 5, they're only going for 1 instead of 2. And long roll for the point after.
Driver's nickname is Quickie. Ouch.
Anderson shaking his head. An early Lambeau lead, 13-7 Green Bay. And yeah, there is a bay in Green Bay. There it is, coming in from Lake Michigan. And right into Lambeau Field. Yeah, we want snow. You'll get it, don't worry.
Well, the green and the gold, to be specific, Pantone 553 and Pantone 116.
That is dropped and picked up by Chris Cole, wearing Shannon Sharp's old number. And he gets taken down at the 2-yard line. And there's a flag down, however, back at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, this one's coming back offsides against the Pack. Only reason for that flag on that part of the field is offsides.
Yep. And somebody's really going to be chagrined here, because whatever Packer came across the line just cost his team. When there's Frank Novak, the special teams coach.
Offside.
A ton of yardage.
44 for the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
Number 44 on the kicking team is one Matt Snyder, backup fullback. Meanwhile, let's go back and take a look at Anderson's fumble. Remember, Anderson also had a drop pass at the end of the first half.
Ball punched out here by Donnie Sprague with the right hand. And it didn't take long for the Packers and Doug Peterson to capitalize. 19 yards out. He's going to find a great move by Driver, left side of the screen, as he freezes Keith Burns there. And then this explosiveness to get into the end zone. What a play by Driver.
And that's your 5th wideout, probably. They do have some weaponry up here this year.
Frank Novak, longtime special teams coach with several teams. The Oilers special teams coach in Houston for several years.
Special team coaches always just have a look about them, don't they, Al?
Yeah.
Hungry, aggressive. They got that Frank Cush thing happening.
They do. Kevin Casper back to receive the kick. This time they remain onside. Longwell's kick. Drop at the 4 by Casper. And he gets run out of bounds at the 28-yard line. There's the running back comparison thus far between Mike Anderson and Olandis Gary. Again, Terrell Davis not in uniform tonight, but will play over the weekend in Denver.
Al, don't you feel that Shanahan must have some loyalty to Terrell, and obviously these two can fight it out, but until they get a good look at a healthy Terrell Davis, that decision probably won't be made, right?
You know, I'm going to pass it along to Dan after I tell you what every coach I've ever talked to has basically said to me about any situation like this. As Farad hands the ball to Anderson, they will do whatever they have to do to win. And I think it's going to be predicated in Mike's mind, no matter what he says publicly, who gives him the best chance to win.
That's what it's all about, Al. You're absolutely right. And what Terrell has got to prove to Shanahan is that he has the confidence to make the cut. The confidence in that leg to, and when Terrell talked to Eric, he said basically the same thing. When I feel healthy, I know what I can do. When I feel healthy. Confidence. That's what it's all about.
2nd and 2 from the 36. Anderson. And don't forget, when you're talking about Mike Shanahan, you're talking about a man who went through training camp a couple of years ago with Bubby Brister. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just announces, Greasy is my quarterback. Huge flap in Denver. I mean, it was crazy for a couple of weeks. Made the right call.
Intuition's a big part of being a successful head coach, and you've got to think and trust the intuition of Mike Shanahan. It's been awful good for him, especially when it comes to Greasy. That was a real gutsy move, and it's paid off.
Like a lot of coaches have said, when you let the fans start coaching your team, pretty soon you're sitting with them. 3rd and 1, and they pick up the first down as Anderson gets up to the 44. Flag.
Anderson's not only covering the ball, he's swallowing it.
Well, he knows how important that fumble was because the Packers went down and scored right away. So that fumble was points on the board. Unfortunately for Anderson, that nice run is coming back.
Illegal formation, number 71, offense. Was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, replay, third down.
Well, they've asked the refs to exhibit a little more personality in their calls this year. Anybody picked up on it yet?
That was ticky-tack, but Fordham was in the backfield. That's unusual in a short yardage situation. Usually you see that in a passing situation, not a running situation.
Farad on 3rd and 6, empties the backfield with Anderson going in motion. And here come the Packers, and there goes Farad. Hunt, his second big play of the night. Cledius Hunt.
Farad didn't get a real good handle on this snap here. Watch, here's Hunt. Watch the snap here between Farad and his center. A little bit low, and Hunt just comes free in the gap between the guard and center.
You know, in a weird way, this might be working against Cledius Hunt because I'm sure it's angering Mike Sherman with each great play he makes, knowing he's off for the first 4 weeks.
Right. Violated the league's substance abuse policy, comes back in early October. Nick Harris, drafted out of California in the 4th round, trying to beat Tom Ruin out of a job. This kick is fielded and then dropped at the 33 and then covered up by Charles Lee. And for Harris, that punt was 42 yards. Back by here from the 32-yard line on 1st down. Peterson going deep for Driver, and Driver outleaps the defender and makes a great catch at the 35-yard line. So Donald Driver having a big 3rd quarter. Darryl Pounds with tight coverage, but Driver just takes it away.
Well, the one thing that Tom Rossley, offensive coordinator, told me, the first thing he said is the guy's a 7'6" high jumper. And he's pretty tenacious, too. Good hands.
Nice.
Simultaneous catch with Darryl Pounds goes to the offense.
Vivid depiction of the Darwinian nature of the NFL. Bradford drops a couple. Driver comes in, smells blood, goes for the position.
Moves up on the depth chart. Peterson. Boy, he's looking sharp. And that is caught by Bradford. So Corey says, wait a second, don't make me number 4 just yet.
And that was a good catch. He had to twist his body in midair, reach back for that pass.
Dano, how could Doug Peterson look so lost in Philadelphia? I mean, doesn't Andy Reid run the same system there?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes there are horses for courses. Special playing here for the Packers. This might be Peterson's last go-round. And this is a time for backups to make an impression. And Peterson, as you said, looking awful sharp tonight.
He's letting it rip.
Goodman can't get outside, and he is taken down by Lee Woodall, the venerable one, the former 49er and Panther, now in his 8th year. Lee Woodall still looking just like Evander Holyfield.
Well, he's been a champion for years. All those old Niners hold a special place in my heart, man. They really played the game like it was supposed to be played. Only in preseason can you have a guy named Mealy Mouth replaced by a guy named Whisper. That's a lot of people on the roster, Bino.
Tell me about it. 2nd and 10. Swing it out. Hit hard is Chris Gall by George Coggill. So Gall turning around, coming out of the backfield, the number 3 fullback on the depth chart. Can't hold on.
The main concern for the Packers coming into this game was the play of the offensive line. They were horrible against the Cleveland Browns in the exhibition opener. Tonight, both Favre and Peterson have got a lot of time to throw. Neither of them have been sacked by this Denver defensive line. So Sherman's got to be happy about that. Big Earl Dotson, right tackle tonight. Number 72, doing a good job.
Peterson is 5 for 6 tonight. He was 10 of 13 last week in their exhibition against the Browns. Bud throws, and that is knocked away. Coming up to make the play was Jimmy Spencer. Gambled on it and won the gamble by flicking it away from Corey Bradford.
Peterson late on that pass to Bradford. Bradford had Spencer beat. But the pressure forced Peterson to back up in the pocket. Then he threw late, and Spencer almost got the pick.
Now Longwell will attempt a 39-yard field goal. Remember, they drafted Brett Conway in the 3rd round in '96. He got hurt. Longwell was waived by the 49ers, won the job, been here since. Took advantage of the situation, and before too long he'll be the most accurate kicker in the history of the National Football League and need a minimum 100 field goals. He's not quite there, but he's close, and he tacks on 3. 16-7 Green Bay. Here's Casper fielding Longwell's kick from the 5. He brings it back up to the 31-yard line. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in
Mid-America in the summer, Al.
With Mongo Jerry.
Was that Ron Yeri's kid?
We're still not sure. Farrat.
Oh, man.
Well, Dennis talked about Alex Gibbs, and we're going to see a flag. Yes, we are, as Bill Carollo drops a late flag in the offensive backfield for intentional grounding. He was not out of the pocket. Had he been out of the pocket, he could have gotten away with that.
Well, Farrat couldn't have done any more. He put it right on the kid's numbers and he dropped it. Now, granted, it was a ball boy for the Packers, but it was right on the
grounding,
number.
number 12, offense, 10-yard penalty. This penalty also includes a loss of down. It'll be 2nd down.
That's the tough thing. It's loss of down. Here's the pocket from tight end box to tight end box on the outside, and there's just no white shirts where this ball comes down. Well overthrown and intentionally grounding.
Now refresh my memory, Dano. Hypothetically, that pocket does go
around the world.
I love that concept. That is so.
So does the goal line. Remember, around the world.
Perpendicular.
2nd and 20. Farrat slings it sidearm, caught by Gary. Dennis talked about Alex Gibbs, the line coach, and we documented Rick Dennison. And the Denver offensive line, they've done such a beautiful job. The system has worked so efficiently through the years. But with 3 running backs now, each has, in his own way, a distinct running style. You begin to wonder how that affects the offensive line as a unit. And an offensive line that has to undergo some changes from time to time. 3rd down and 17 from the 23-yard line. And that is incomplete. Is there a flag? There is not. Beautiful. Scott McGarrahan breaks it up. Eric, we were talking about the offensive line. How does something like that affect the offensive line?
Each guy sees the line of Gary. He may take a play and bounce it outside. The same play Mike Anderson may cut the ball all the way back. When it comes to hitting the line of scrimmage, to me, when Terrell Davis is healthy, he hits the line of scrimmage faster than any guy. So then the line does not have to hold their blocks as long. One thing the line has to be aware of is who's in the football game, so they can know who to block for and how to block for the guy.
Meanwhile, here's Nick Harris juggling the snap, coming up with it, and then getting the luck of the bounce as he picks up about 12 or 14 more yards on the ground. So an ugly punt turns out to be a 46-yard punt for the rookie trying to beat out Tom Ruin. Preseason, week 3 of preseason. Green Bay leading Denver 16-7, 5:42 left in the 3rd. 3 weeks to the regular season. Green Bay opens here against Detroit September 9th. Denver opens at home on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants 3 weeks from tonight.
Nice football game tonight. Feeling it round in the shape.
It is. From the 31-yard line, Whisper Goodman gets tackled in the backfield as the safety George Coghill comes up. 2-yard loss. Well, Denver making a lot of changes defensively. Of course, we talked about Ray Rhodes, and Ray now has really bounced around. Philadelphia, then here for a year, then Washington last year under North Turner for a year, and then with Shanahan. The new additions for them include Berline and Hape and Kennison offensively, along with Leuenberg and Fordham up front. And then we'll show you the defensive changes in a moment on 2nd down and 11. from the 30 as Peterson retreats. And that's caught by Bradford. And Bradford picks up the first down. Nice grab up at the 49-yard line for Corey Bradford. 19-yard pickup. Denver defensively, and that's the one area of the ball they really look to make major improvements with. The veterans Lett and McLaughlin. Walker did a nice job with Tennessee. Was shocked that the Titans didn't try to re-sign him. Washington from Baltimore. Woodall from Carolina. And Eric Davis from the Panthers as well. But Davis was a 49er. In fact, Eric played for Ray Rhodes at San Francisco when Ray was the defensive coordinator there.
Nice, solid alternative if some of the young kids don't work out.
Peterson on first down. Over the middle. That's caught by Chris Gall, and he gets tackled by Mr. Woodall.
I tell you what, Peterson's getting great time to throw, and he's taking advantage of his offensive line and the receivers. The throw he made just before this last one was to Bradford, and he had no business throwing the ball because Darryl Pounds was all over him. But the pass protection allows the quarterback to have confidence to put the ball in an area where just the receiver can catch it.
Surprised we're not seeing Billy Joe Tolliver. Sherman said he was going to give him a look-see tonight.
We'll see him in the fourth quarter.
Yep. Whisper Goodman breaks a tackle, and Herbert is Goodman's given name. Takes it to the 32-yard line for a first down. Brett Favre has been so durable through the years. As you know, he holds the NFL record for most consecutive starts. So you rarely think about the backup quarterback. There it is. Since Brett Favre started his first game with Green Bay, 137 quarterbacks have started for the other NFL teams.
That's incredible. It's toughness, it's mental toughness, and you're not even counting some playoff games in that stat too. So Favre has been the man and will continue to be.
Prior to the snap, false start, 63, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Bill Ferrario. You know, one thing that's different, I think, this year, Dan, is in the past, when you look at who Green Bay has had. Remember, Mark Brunell was here.
Yeah.
And through the years, and up until Matt Hasselbeck last year, and now Matt gets traded to Seattle, he'll be #1. Green Bay actually tried to sign Trent Dilfer to be the backup. He declined, and he winds up going to Seattle to back up Hasselbeck. Well, that tries to one-hand it, can. And Aaron Brooks was here now, and Brooks battling with Jeff Blake in New Orleans.
And will probably win that job in New Orleans.
Well, another testimony to Favre's durability is the guy survived a tornado at his house in Hattiesburg, Mississippi earlier this year. Tore the roof off the sucker.
He's just got the ability to make so many different throws too. He finds Bubba, his big tight end, over the middle there. Then the shot down the middle that Bradford can't catch. Rough snap there by his old buddy Frank Winters, but Brett Favre, it was a reaction after the Bradford drop as well.
2nd and 15. Peterson sets up the screen. Goodman. Oh, Goodman gets a nice block and takes it to the 31-yard line.
I think Favre's only concession to age at this point is he told us if he scrambles on any particular play, on the next play they're either going to run the ball, or if they do call pass, he's checking off to a run because he's a little gassed.
Glenn Roundtree, number 73, throwing a block to create another 5 or 6 yards on the ground.
Glenn Roundtree. Who's the cat who won't cop out?
Sounds like the Wayne Brady show all of a sudden.
Hey, Wayne Brady runs a nice little shop over there. He's a 5-tool guy.
3rd down and 8 from the 32-yard line.
Nice pass.
Reaching for it. Did he have possession? No, he did not. Incomplete. The pass intended for Robert Ferguson. He was their 2nd-round draft choice out of Texas A&M.
All in all, the Green Bay quarterbackers have been throwing darts all night.
But in this offense, you got to be able to catch the slant route because they're going to throw it 1,000 times. Had it in his hands, that's a catch. That's a catch, and that's recovered by Driver. If I were the Packers, I'd want this reviewed. He had the ball in his hands, his feet came down, then the ball was punched out.
Well, preseason, they're saying no review. Let's move along.
49-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Longwell, and that's good.
The pride of Bend, Oregon. A Bend Lava Bear, yeah. Ryan Longwell. You know, Bend, Oregon's a suburb of Sisters, Oregon.
Thought you were saving
know
that for
that.
the regular season, my man.
Never save anything, Dennis. You never know what's going to happen on the way home.
That's right. To deal with that guy in the morning.
Let me take that into the back and see if my boss will green light that. I got a pair of shoes for a car.
How many black labels would you need to make that deal? Here's Casper picking it up after running into the official, bringing it back to the 24. Casper was trying to get out of the way, and vice versa. Bill Carollo, the referee, stands back there at the goal line, and Casper said, hey, man, I'm trying to win a job. What are you doing?
Incredible.
I say Casper makes this team. I like the cut of his jib.
Well, he hung with it, too. I mean, Carollo doesn't realize that Casper's behind him. Check this out. Carollo wanted to bring it back. He was getting in position to make the catch.
I guess Carollo adhering to that. If they show more personality, get involved in the play.
Get out of the way.
From the 24-yard line, 2:20 to go. Farrat slings it out to Scotty Montgomery on the near side. Montgomery, second-year guy out of Duke, taken down at the 35. Let's go to Melissa.
All right, Al, as for the Broncos, what they've done with their money, Willie Middlebrooks has been pretty busy. He got a house, a car, paid some bills for his mom, and is redesigning her house. Paul Toviesi used to share a Ford Contour. Oh, we'll be back right after this play.
Paul did a lot of stuff. Here's Anderson up to the 46-yard line. All right, let's go back to Tobiesi.
Okay, he used to share a Ford Contour with his wife. Now they each have their own SUVs. They also have a new 4-bedroom house outside of Denver. And Reggie Haywood, he helped his parents with some bills, and he upgraded from a Buick Century to a Cadillac SUV. That seems to be the car of choice for all these rookies this year, Al.
It has been. We've heard a lot about those. I'm still trying to figure out that Nike for a BMW deal.
Me too.
From the 46-yard line, look out. Farrat gets blindsided. Flag gets thrown. Kabir Baha-Biamila comes in and gets the sack pending the call. Baja Biamila. I'm thinking of Baja because we're going to Mexico next week.
I'll tell you, Jamal Reynolds. Oh, we got a call here. I haven't talked over the ref all night. Shut up, Dennis.
Holding, 65. Offense. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Cooper Carlisle.
I'll tell you what, Jamal Reynolds has spent some of his money on a masseuse because Chad Clifton has been pounding him in one-on-one passing drills in camp.
Here's Baja Biamila, and there you see the hold by Cooper Carlisle. Just bad footwork. Biamila had the corner, and because he was slow, Carlisle had to reach out and tackle him almost. Didn't do a very good job with it either.
2nd and 16, final minute, third quarter. 4-man rush. Farrat throws. Defender falls down. Catch made by Desmond Clark, about 4 yards shy of the first down. They'll spot it at the 48-yard line.
You know, guys, Biamila, that name translates to big man, come and save me in his native tongue. Really? And if I'm not mistaken, that's what George Bush says to Dick Cheney at the end of every day in the Oval Office. Just
equal time now. Come on.
I love Cheney. Cheney's like Sanford and Son with a heart attack. He doesn't care. He's just walking through. Boom. Huh?
Like Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
Ditka had a heart attack, and 2 weeks later he's coaching.
They're having 5, 6 a day. They don't care.
Ditka's a carrier.
3rd and 4 from the 48-yard line, and falling down very close to the first down is Scotty Montgomery. Had to go to the ground and make the catch. Danny.
Hey, Dano, give me that telestrip. Wait, what are you doing? Hey, Danny, stop it.
We love you, Dennis.
Carolyn Miller here tonight.
Hey, look at this. It's catching on, the albino thing. I'm telling you, man, you got to copyright that. You're going to make a big chunk of change.
I'd rather get the patent on stem cells. Ooh, that's thrown out to Chris Cole. And Cole is taken down to the 47-yard line. 14:47. Clock beginning to tick down now. Early in the fourth quarter with Green Bay on top 19-7.
Dante Curry with another big play for the Packers. He had a fumble recovery in the first half. Watch him get his left hand up, knock this ball off its course, And poor Chris Cole has to catch it and then get tackled by about 4 Packers.
Well, how much time is Curry going to see? Is Nate Wayne hurt badly?
Well, he's got a knee, and knees can be tricky. There's no question about that.
2nd and 12. Farad throws. That is caught. And a big first down for Desmond Clark. But a flag is down back at the 49-yard line. And Farad is down as well and on one knee.
Well, you hate to have a holding penalty and then look back and see your quarterback slow getting up. If you're going to hold, fellas, keep the guys from hitting the QB.
Holding, 65, offense. 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
17-yard gain down the drain.
Carlisle's having trouble with Kabir Bajabiamila. 2nd holding penalty against him, and again, he doesn't even keep Bajabiamila from hitting the quarterback.
Well, it looks like Biajamila is going to be ostensibly holding out the role they hope for Jamal Reynolds this year. He looks like the quick one off the corner.
Let me tell you, that's real close for Gus Farad blowing out his knee. Biamila didn't mean to go low, but he was pulled down there by Cooper Carlisle.
2nd and 22 from the 44-yard line. Farad has his arm hit as he throws. Was it coming forward? They're saying it's a fumble. And there's Bajabiamila creating a fumble and a turnover. And Farrad's going to contend that his arm was coming forward. It's a reviewable play, so if Farad can convince Shanahan to challenge, that's what we'll see here in a moment. Mike might just decide to do it on his own. Mike's looking up at the board to see the initial replay.
Farad may just want to get off the field because he cannot help from getting hit by Bajabiamila. Again, beating Cooper Carlisle. Say that 10 times fast.
Wow. Marshall Falk, Darnay Scott, Biamila, these San Diego State guys are quick out of the blocks.
Well, I thought his arm was coming forward. The question is, are they going to challenge this? They throw a flag here, but that just may be to stop play for the challenge. Let's see.
There's no foul on the play. 1st down, Green Bay.
All right, so there's no foul. I would suspect with Billy Joe Tolliver now in the game for Green Bay, in the regular season, I think you challenge that call.
No question. Anytime there's a question, you should challenge, but maybe Shanahan doesn't want to see his backup quarterback get beat up anymore. They should change the blocking scheme for one and give Carlisle some help.
Now Billy Joe Tolliver, who once backed up along with Brett Favre in Favre's rookie season in Atlanta, hits Parker to the 31-yard line. Both were backups with the Falcons in '91. Let's take a look at the play, and I have to think if this is the regular season, this obviously gets challenged.
Watch the ball, and that's coming forward.
Sure.
If it wasn't coming forward, it would come straight down.
Right.
With the hand hitting, but the ball, he hit his arm and not the ball, so that is a forward pass.
Right. We've seen that call made several times before. That arm comes forward like that. They'll rule it an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 4 from the 31-yard line. 8 men up on the Denver line, and through that 8-man front goes one Damon Parker down to the 21-yard line. 1st down.
Nobody hands off like Billy Joe Tolliver. I don't have to tell you that. Might be time to see Jarius Jackson too. It's getting a little chippy out there. Might have to get your 2nd stringers out of the game.
Billy Joe Tolliver started his career with the Chargers, then went to Atlanta, played with the Oilers, back to Atlanta, Kansas City briefly, then New Orleans the last 3 years. Even though last year he did not play for the Saints. Into the end zone, good double coverage and incomplete, flag thrown. Charles Lee was caught in the sandwich that time. Flag at the 14-yard line.
And that's in the Denver secondary.
Against Denver.
Now,
Illegal use of the hands in the face, 33, defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Jimmy Spencer giving the rookie Robert Ferguson a lot of respect here. In fact, he's going to come up and chuck him at the line of scrimmage. Good move by Ferguson there to get to the inside. That's why Spencer had to reach out and grab that face mask. That's a heck of a move by a rookie.
You know, Billy Joe Tolliver's thinking, I'm gunning it in there. I don't care if it is a double team. They're not going to keep me on the team if I'm just reading progressions.
Yeah, and he knows that Michael Bishop's on his way to Titletown, too.
Claimed on waivers today. Parker, gain of 5 to the 13 goes DeMond.
What's the thinking on bringing somebody like Bishop in at this late date, Dana? What do you think? They got enough reps for him in camp? Michael Bishop, I mean, it seems like pretty late in the game to bring in a specialty quarterback like that.
But he's young, and he could be developed. And that's, I'm sure, what Sherman's talking about. You know, the talk last week was that they might bring Cade McNown in here. He told us that too expensive, and he didn't think that the Bears would be trading within the division.
Also, Bishop does so many different types of things. You can almost run, as Wannstedt wants to do in Miami, kind of a Ray Lucas package with him if he develops.
Yeah, that slash thing.
Yeah, the ironic thing is in Pittsburgh, they bring somebody in a third down to run a traditional package.
Boy, you're hard on Cordell, aren't you?
Careful now.
He's had a few years. Got to do it this year, doesn't he?
We're going back into your hometown this year, you know.
I can't wait. I love the Berg, but I'm just a little shaky on Cordell. It's about time he steps up.
I was talking to Cordell the other day. He thinks Drew Carey should replace you on HBO.
Speaking of Drew, hey, listen, it's majority position. Speaking of Drews,
you know, I got to
did you see Drew Brees the other night?
I saw him.
Flutie finally gets his own gig. The kid looks like a gamer.
He is a gamer.
3rd and 6 from the 13. Screen is set up and juggling it. That cost him the first down. Parker had to reach back, juggle it, make the catch. And by that time, Kanoy Kennedy said, stop right here.
Yeah, the pressure in Tolliver's face forced him to throw the ball too high. DeMond caught that ball 6 times. Still didn't make it.
Billy Joe Tolliver looks a little like Jonathan Kruk, doesn't he?
29-yard field goal from Longwell, the pride of
Bend, Oregon, suburb of Sisters, Oregon.
Am I from Bend, Oregon?
22-7, Pack. Green Bay on top, 22-7 in a game the Broncos led at the half, 7-3. 16-point third quarter for the Pack. Longwell just booted a field goal to make the lead 15. Kevin Casper, the rookie who ran into the referee Bill Carollo on the last run back. This time will elude him without any difficulty. And Casper, with a flag thrown, gets taken out of bounds up at the 36-yard line. And that'll come back.
You sure Casper and Tim Dwight are just friends? They look like brothers the way they play.
Holding 47 during the return. 10-yard penalty. First down, Denver.
Darius Clark is the man.
In sync in town for the game.
What are you doing?
Close-knit unit. Close-knit unit sharing a tie.
You trying to tie one on me? Is this still the greatest job in the world or what?
Hey,
so much fun.
He kept his clothes on tonight, too.
I know. I
It's
usually
great.
am in my shorts by now, but Freddie, our new producer, cuts the booth a lot. I didn't want it to turn into a R-rated situation.
It's all right. We'll be in Mexico next week. Different rules. Jarius Jackson is now in the game. He's the quarterback, number 3, behind Greasy and Farrat.
71 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
His stint begins with Todd Fordham.
Never been to Mexico City, Vasco da Gama. Brief me a little.
It's going to be cool. You'll enjoy it. We'll go to the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon.
What's that, a nightclub?
Well, Walgreens is a nightclub up here, so we will. Danny and I are we're going to show you. We're going to show you the way through the real red zone, the Zona Rosa next week.
Arriba.
There's Jackson. hitting Tony Carter. He makes the catch.
Oh, come on.
But Dante Curry, easy, Dante, easy.
Yeah, come on, Dante.
That's what Leroy Butler was talking about, though, is that hitting ability and athletic ability. Dante Curry, I mean, he's not a big guy. He's only 6'1", 230, but he's making plays all over the place.
You got to act like you're not that shocked by the play, though. He gets up, he's hitting his chest like Celine Dion.
You know, we're going to see next week in Mexico. How about Jerry Rice in silver and black? Rice now a Raider against the Dallas Cowboys. Withered Dallas. Well, we'll find out next week.
Wow. Last time Dallas won a preseason game, Eddie LeBaron was at the helm.
2nd and 12. Swinging to the outside. Karan Coleman. Now, here's a guy. You talk about almost no chance to win a job. You've got Gary Anderson and, of course, Terrell Davis ahead of you. And Karan Coleman is a second-year guy out of Stephen F. Austin, but I guess if you can look fairly decent in preseason, somebody else takes a look at you, you get a job.
Yeah, he's putting together a resume tape right now. He had a 45-yard run last week against the Cowboys, and that was a sweet move on that one.
Hey, forget putting a resume together. If form holds, he'll gain 1,500 yards this year for Denver.
Third down and 2 now from the 31. Movement up front.
So Jarius is in now. He spent some time in NFL Europe, didn't he, Dano?
Yeah, he did with Barcelona.
Prior to the snap, false start. 63, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Jarius's offensive coordinator was Sam Rutigliano.
Thus far,
Sammy Rutigliano is in Barcelona now?
See,
former Cleveland coach. There are the numbers through last week's game and to this point tonight, and how Anderson and Gary have fared in the battle for what might be #1 if Terrell Davis can't make it on opening night.
Is Blanton Collier with the Rhine Fire?
3rd down and 7 from the 26. Nick Skorich may be with Amsterdam. We don't know. We're checking that out right now. That's caught by Kevin Casper.
Nick Skorich, nice pull.
the one thing about Jarius is he got a lot of experience over there, a lot of repetitions, and it's helped his confidence. And you're seeing a quarterback who used to, when he get in trouble and get that pressure, would run out of the pocket. Stood strong that time and fired a strike, a high one to Kevin Casper, but a strike.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Jackson nimbly moves away, but nobody's home, so he throws the ball into the Green Bay bench.
The big thing about going to Europe, and Jarius didn't want to go there when he first got the call, but it gave him time to work on his skills. He's a very talented athlete, but he needed extra time to work on being the basic quarterback. You can see what he can do when he uses just his athletic ability, but the test now for him will be dropping back, setting his feet, reading the defense, and throwing the ball.
Now the Barcelona Dragon defense, Danny, they run a 2-gap, 1-gap.
Dos gaps. He's a monster, Al.
2nd and 10. And it is almost intercepted, but incomplete. Scott McGarrahan and Chris Akins were both there, but the ball hit the ground.
Called Akins' name a couple times tonight. He's got a nose for the ball, the kid.
He prevented an interception on that play, too.
Well, I'm not saying it's not a running nose, but he's got a nose for it.
Poor decision by Jackson. Trying to throw it into double coverage. Actually, Akins had a better shot at it than McGarrahan.
Well, Born to be Wild in the background, written by Mars Bonfire.
We'll be here all week.
Try the field.
3rd and 10 from the 38. Here's Casper up to the 45-yard line, short of the 1st down.
I was talking to Gary Kubiak about Jarius Jackson. He said that they had a game last week against the Cowboys. They faced a 3rd and 30, and Gary on the intercom said to Jarius, just take what they give you. You're not going to get it all in 3rd and 30. I don't even have a play that is designed to get 3rd and 30. Right. Well, he went back and threw the ball 30 yards down the field, and it was picked off. So Gary said, hey, you got to do what I tell you. Just be patient. Take what the defense gives you, even if it's 3rd and 30.
Little injury timeout right now. One of the Packer special teamers needs a moment. Harris, an okay night. He had one inside the 20, along a 46. That wasn't a thing of beauty. It rolled for an extra 10 or 11 yards. Juggled a snap, but got a kick away. And this is the guy, of course, who was drafted in the 4th round. One of only 2 punters drafted in April, and trying to supplant the long-established Tom Ruin. Good snap. And a fair kick. Fair caught by Charles Lee at the 15-yard line. 40-yard kick.
Nick Harris worked for Ray Guy, the great punter for the Oakland Raiders, who was taken in the 1st round, and they have similar styles. Watch the extension by Guy, just beautiful. And Harris, a bigger man than Ray Guy, but similar extension, way off the ground. And the reason that Nick Harris wears number 8, you got it, his idol is Ray Guy.
Yeah, the only difference being Ray Guy got 39.6 if he hit it off his knee.
Tell you what, having played against Ray Guy, he came out in '73, same year I did. We were always backed up because of his great punts. He was outstanding and should be in the Hall of Fame someday.
From 15-yard line, Tolliver hands the ball to Parker. You know, one thing, Dan, I used to do a bunch of those superstar shows, flag down, when we did a ton of them on ABC. Yeah. And they've been around for years. In all the shows I covered with some of the best athletes in the world, the best athlete I ever saw on any of those shows was Ray Guy.
Yeah, he was
yep,
a backup quarterback for a long time for the Raiders. Never got a chance to play because of Stabler, but Ray Guy, outstanding athlete. And you just
44, offense, half the distance to the goal, replay, first down.
You just don't. You just can't be a kicker and have that type of move and that extension without being a great athlete.
They used to have like the baseball hitting or softball hitting and basketball free throw shooting and swimming and all that, and track events, and Guy excelled in all of them.
I thought you were going to say Larry Mahan.
I was. He was second.
Joe Frazier.
1st and 17 from the 7-yard line after the penalty call. Demond Parker for a gain of a couple. And we can tell you that Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
That was MacArthur Park.
I think it was Don't Hang Up by the Orlons. Dana, what was it?
I have no idea. I'm the moderator here.
All of a sudden, I'm in a warehouse with Wolfman Jack.
All of a sudden, Dan is Ann Robinson. Here is Demond Parker taken out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
Hey, there's the little midget league kids.
Yep.
That's cute. Put on a great show at halftime.
They did. Brought teams in from 4 different units around the valley here. That's why the Packers are so those kids. I met one of them before the game, Christian Elias, playing for one of those teams. And you talk about a thrill for a child to come out on the field and perform at Lambeau Field.
Yeah,
I know.
It's unbelievable.
Must be one of the kids held out. You know, the modern times. Kid would not come out.
3rd down and 14 from the 11-yard line. And Parker again getting a full workload. Tackled by Darius Clark.
Well, you think Mike Sherman's liked what he's seen tonight, Al?
Yeah, for a preseason game, he has to be relatively pleased.
Probably the only negative thing for Sherman has been the penalties. They had 11 last week against the Browns and 8 tonight. But you expect a lot of penalties in preseason when you're playing so many different players.
Hometown kid now, Kevin Stempke from here, punted for the Wisconsin Badgers under Barry Alvarez. And before he gets his kickoff at Lambeau Field, the Packers have to take a timeout.
As he is
Ray Guy Award winner. Sends one into the night air toward the Piggly Wiggly sign. Fielded by Kevin Casper at the 38. And he takes it back to the Green Bay 48-yard line. 5:15 left in Titletown in this preseason special. All pack. Malibu Kelly Hayes telling me that Nebraska is going to be tough this year. You're going to see them against TCU in the Pigskin Classic. That's Saturday here on ABC, and Syracuse takes on Georgia Tech Sunday. So the college football season commences this weekend. A pair of games, a brace of confrontations right here on ABC.
I'm not a fan of the college game.
What do you mean you're not a fan of the college game?
I like the guys who don't play for pay.
From the 47-yard line, Jackson throws and caught down the sideline by Tony Carter.
Tony Carter, who came over and has been battling a rotator cuff problem. Another one of the fullbacks who've been hurt for the Broncos. But this is a beautiful throw by Jackson, and Carter gets down the sidelines, and the Packers go to sleep. London Dunlap late with the coverage.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Jarius Jackson played his college ball at Notre Dame. Nice fake.
Nice step up.
And then he gets tackled from behind after he had first eluded the pursuing Billy Lyon. Monday Night Football brought to you by Bud Light.
Mercine Sears.
2nd down and 6. Karan Coleman. No, Mike Sherman, 2nd year. Melissa mentioned it at the top of the show. Never a head coach anywhere, not high school or college.
That is
bizarre. The NFL until he comes here. He's hired by Ron Wolf, and Ron retires, and then Sherman ascends to what was Ron's position as well. By the way, Ron retiring to Annapolis, Maryland. I talked to him today. He's in fine fettle. Loves living by the water. Loves reading about military history. And what better place to do that than Annapolis, Maryland?
Did I hear a rumor he's going to do a little color commentary for the Middies?
Just a rumor.
Oh, bad rumor.
Still negotiating, huh?
My lips are sealed.
Is that a military secret then?
That is a military secret.
Right. Sorry I tipped it down there.
It's okay. Ron just had a heart attack in Annapolis.
51 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Mark Hatley has also come in, had been with the Bears before the Kansas City, to assume a lot of the duties with, Sherman coaching the team, still having control over personnel. You do need somebody to really run it day to day on the personnel side, and so he brings in Mark Hatley from Chicago.
Al, what do you think the ideal is? You like all the power in one guy, or you like a separate talent guy?
I think the coach needs a certain amount of power to do his job effectively.
He wants to be able to coach the players that he picks,
right?
Not somebody else.
3rd down and 11 from the 22-yard line. It's thrown down to the 12-yard line, and Casper makes the catch.
That's not exactly the ghost to the post, but it was a pretty good slant route by Casper. He's having a heck of a night. Seen him on all kinds of kick returns and everything. And this is his 3rd catch of the night.
Speaking of a guy who likes control, remember Mike Shanahan, as we see it again. Dan's going to circle it.
Good patience to set up the in route, working against Dunlap again. Good catch.
Casper won his spurs tonight. He's doing it all.
4th down and 2 at the 13-yard line. And a whistle blows it dead before the snap. All kinds of movement. Green Bay thinks it's against Denver. And it is.
Prior to the snap, false start. 88 offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
Dennis, you brought up a very interesting point. Remember, Mike Shanahan could have had the job in 1993 with Denver. He was in San Francisco as the offensive coordinator. Turned it down because he was not going to be given the power he felt was necessary to do the job properly. So he eschewed a head coaching position to succeed Reeves to stay in San Francisco. Wade Phillips got the job. Then Mike took it 2 years later when Pat Bowlen said, okay, now you get the power you wanted 2 years ago.
And who was the talent guy in Denver at that time?
Trying to remember. 4th and 7.
Sorry, buddy.
And that is incomplete. Chris Cole, the intended receiver.
Sorry to throw you the Scroogey there.
No, I'm trying to remember. It was John Beek had some control over some operations, but might have been Bob. I think Bob Ferguson was there as well. Anyway, I'm just musing as we're on the air.
Well, then Shanny goes away and probably has the worst year of his life, right?
From the 18-yard line.
I'm bringing you down with me.
It's okay, baby. I hope you got a spot for me on Friday nights.
Now, Shanahan coaches Denver, right?
Very good. His friends call him Shanny, by the way.
All right. Jeez, I'm going to never live that down. We're tight. What can I say? We went on a 2-week ballooning trip in the off-season. Bolin, Shanny, and I. I'm an insider now, Ben. Don't be afraid of it. Just know it's there. All right. I know he coached for Al Davis for a while now. Owes him money.
Oh, baby.
I have never rooted for the 2-minute warning as hard as I'm rooting now, baby.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It ain't coming quick enough.
No.
2nd and 6 from the 22. Parker. Here's our 2-minute warning, Dano.
They have great ones here in Green Bay.
Well, Antonio Freeman was a scary moment there getting hit by Eric Brown, but the good sportsmanship there by Brown coming over and making sure that Antonio knows it's all part of the game, my man.
Denny, it's knockdown time. 3rd down and 7 at the 21-yard line.
Let's run through the tape here, boys.
Tolliver fakes the inside give and then throws low, intended for Parker, and it's 4th down.
Wow.
Well, so Green Bay stays home. They meet Miami here over the weekend. Denver goes home. 2 more preseason games for the Broncos. They face New Orleans at their new playpen on Saturday. Then the 49ers come in, and then they open up Monday Night Football, the regular season, on September 10th against the Giants.
Well, you talk about a tough first 4 games, too. The Broncos will be tested.
Who do they got?
They'll give you that in a second. Is Stemke, the local kid, trying to make good. Wobbly kick, not much distance, and then it bounds backwards at the 46-yard line. Melissa?
Al, with free agency and so many new faces on the team each year, Mike Sherman wants to make sure that his players get to know each other. So far this preseason, he's taken them on a number of outings. They played paintball. It was offense versus defense, and apparently K.D. Williams just would not die. He won that one for the defense. They had a closest to the pin contest. Ty Williams had the best shot. He got an extra hour of curfew for the defense. And last week, they went fishing. Corey Bradford caught the biggest fish, got $100. It sure beats meetings, huh, Al?
It does, and that's one of the reasons Sherman is really, he's become what the players refer to as a players coach.
I'm not sure about the paintball. You want Willie Middlebrooks coming back with a corneal abrasion from a little get-to-know-each-other outing? I'm not sure.
I'd like to know what you do with the extra hour of curfew in Green Bay.
Well, listen, Green Bay swings.
Catch up on your sleep.
Go down to Walgreens. Huh?
You got to know the right people, but this is like Berlin in the late 30s.
Are we going to the cabaret tonight?
I'm just saying. There's a whole side. You get out there to Appleton.
2nd and 11.
Uh-oh.
Karan Coleman.
That wasn't me.
Our first fecal utterance of the season.
Not our last either. A minute to go.
The Packers have certainly improved over the week. Looked terrible against the Cleveland Browns, but they were going to entertain these folks tonight. And I think Doug Peterson was the most impressive the way he threw the ball.
He's throwing darts, man. You know, it looked like Favre like.
3rd and 6. Coleman, and if anybody had any question about Brett Favre's arm, of course, he answered most of those questions last December, but the Packers just trying to pick up where they left off last year with that 4-game winning streak.
And that 4-game winning streak was most impressive because they did it against each of their NFC Central rivals.
If Favre has his howitzer back, you're looking at an 11-5 team here potentially.
Packers last year 9-7, just missed the playoffs. Broncos went 11-5 and were bounced in the first round by eventual champion Baltimore. So Green Bay wins it. This preseason Monday nighter from Packerland goes to the Packers. Final score is Green Bay 22, Denver 7. Back in a minute to wrap it up.